All right, brother. So this is the first of hopefully many episodes. Wednesday Market Watch is sort of what I'm billing it as. You know what I'm saying? Uh, we're gonna discuss a lot of different things in the market. We'll discuss other things dealing with finance, retirement, different ways to set up portfolios, a lot of things, but we're just gonna roll with market watch, and there'll be a lot of a lot of information for people to gain from. You know what I'm saying? My name is Erik T Jackson, here with my partner. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, Eddie Chinea, man, good to be here again, man. I appreciate you having me on again, Eric. This is awesome that we're
Already,
doing this, man. I appreciate that.
already. 81 Capital in the building.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's discuss some things that have been going on in the news recently, man. I know today, man, I've been getting my Twitter feed, everything been blowing up with
Yeah.
the Fed meeting and the interest rates and stuff, man. What can you tell us about that, man?
So, looking at stuff, man, this is, I believe, the fourth, if I'm not mistaken, straight 75 basis point hike that they've had. So you're talking
Wow.
0.75% that they've gone up again, man. They're tightening money supply, what I believe people were hoping for, that
Yeah.
they'd get more of a dovish tone from the Fed. When Jerome Powell spoke, I
Uh-huh.
don't think that that's what everybody wanted, as you saw. I mean, the drop in the market, but
Yeah.
I still think that a lot of these things that are going on, it's going to take time. I mean, you're fighting inflation, trying to battle. You're almost burning the candle at both ends.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little
Yeah.
bit of time for them to get things under control, man. And unfortunately, right now, the market is the one that suffers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So uh is the market is it gonna, I mean, for so how many times how often do they have these meetings?
I mean, you would think that this is the way they talk, man. That they're having a monthly. You know what I mean?
Oh,
They listen to the talking heads on TV, man. Them jokers are meeting
yeah,
all the time. It's like, how you guys, all this meeting time, y'all can't figure this out. You
because it
know,
feel like yeah, I feel like they just raised interest rates, man.
yeah, yeah, no, and it'll go. This one will go in December, and then they're talking about hopefully after this one, they're gonna, I'm thinking they kind of see where they're at again, and then maybe cut it back to 50 basis points, and then it
Yeah.
won't be so bad on the market. But it all depends on who you listen to, man. You know what I mean? Whatever your
Uh-huh.
flavor is, where you're getting your information, your news from,
Yeah.
man. I know
Yeah.
it's right now is a tough time to be in the market. Only thing I can tell people is, just keep plowing through. If you're, contributing to investment accounts, retirement accounts, keep contributing.
Yeah.
Even if you sit in cash, you know what I mean? That's fine also, man. But don't stop contributing. I mean, I know prices are down right now, but I mean,
Right.
just continue, just stay that path, stay that course, because it's going to make a difference here. You know what I mean? Over the next 5 years.
And that's tough to do. You know what I'm saying? Especially for regular folks.
I'm with you.
So, but yeah, man, if you consider yourself a regular person with a regular job, you still, invest, and try to do what you can, because uh it's gonna come back. It's gonna come back down, regress to the mean. I mean, they can't continue raising these rates forever, or can they? I mean, I wonder what's the record or the longest they've raised rates, like in consecutive meetings or whatever. I need
That's
to
a good
look that
question, man.
up.
And something I have to
Yeah.
look up. I know that they meet about 8 times a year.
Okay.
But as far as what the the most consecutive times they've raised, man, that's a
Yeah.
good question.
Yeah, I need to look that up. That's crazy, because 4 times in a row doesn't seem that outlandish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a lot, but it doesn't seem outlandish. Now, if there has been a point in history where they raised that shit like 10 times in a row, I'll be like, God, dog, when was
Yeah,
that? And
yeah.
and and what effect did that have on America? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you go back. I mean, looking at some of the stuff on here, man. March of '88 to May of '89, 14 months. They
Wow.
had, yeah, interest
Continuous
rate
rates.
hikes. Yeah, and then again
Wow.
from February '94 to February '95. And again, you got to think about what's going on at the time, man. High
Uh-huh.
inflation in the '80s. You know what I mean? The '90s start having that
Uh-huh.
dot-com boom. You get 9/11 thrown in there.
Yeah.
Then the housing market, crisis starts going into financial crisis. So,
You
you know,
had the war back then.
oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Desert Storm. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
the
there's a lot of things
storm.
that go into it, and that's something I think that a lot of people don't realize that what's going on in the markets is so much more than just whether a company's making products and selling products. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's what,
There's,
and that's why you want to be like, don't fret. Don't just, jump off the deep end. It ain't the company all the time. A lot of times it's
no,
what
no, no.
happens in the world.
It's crazy because it's earnings season, right? We're in Q3 of this year, 2022, in the
Hmm.
third quarter, and companies reporting their earnings and everything. You look at like, man, these are they hit on EPS on the earnings per share, but
Yep.
they miss on revenue by just a little bit. And
Yeah.
how that stock, sometimes can just start to plummet. You know what I mean? Losing. I mean, I think Facebook and those guys were down something like 12, 13%, 17%. I mean,
Yeah, man.
because they miss on earnings.
Meta. I still ain't calling Facebook Meta.
It's sad. You know what? To me, it's Facebook still, man.
Facebook,
It's
man.
Facebook, man.
But yeah, they've been taking a beating. And I'm like, God, dog,
Well, I mean, they missed on the last two consecutive quarters.
yeah,
They missed uh, back in July, I believe, was the last time. Yeah, so reporting for June and July.
yeah.
I mean, I think they missed, by like 3% on their earnings and something like, missed by, I mean, less than half of a percent. So, I mean,
Hmm.
it's easy to say less than half of a percent because if I told you, I mean, they lost, the surprise was 86.3 something million dollars that they missed on. You're like, oh my gosh,
Exactly.
they missed out on, that much revenue.
Yeah,
But, you
because
know,
when you have a $1 billion company, 0.5% is a lot of money.
yes, it is. Yeah. You talk about some of these guys that are, $1 trillion companies, man. I think, Amazon at
Hmm.
one point was a $1 trillion company and,
Yeah,
they've kind of suffering lately.
yeah. I wonder if they went under the trillion. You know what I'm saying? I guess I could
They
look
did.
at.
Amazon did fall under the $1 trillion
They
mark.
did.
They
Oh
did.
man, so
They
they don't
did.
have the T no more.
Yeah,
You
no,
gotta
I mean,
be.
Apple's one of the last of a dying breed, man. I tell you,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
Apple does it right. I mean, they
yeah,
do.
man.
They do it
Eh,
right.
They do, and that's why most everybody has not just an Apple product, but Apple products in their homes, man. Apple, they are
Oh
wow,
man, it's crazy.
Hmm.
You'd almost think that we can't live. You can't. Humans can't live off of food. We can't live without food and water. But
Yeah,
boy, nowadays it seems like we can't live without Apple and Amazon in our life, man.
cannot. Can't live without them. Like in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it was Microsoft. You couldn't live without them. We probably still can't live without them. I think Microsoft, they may still have like have cornered the market on certain software that you can't have anything other than that in a computer if I'm not mistaken. But I think that's one that we haven't been able to live without for years. And now Apple, yeah, man. Amazon is getting that way. You know, we there's gonna come a time where we're not gonna be able to live without Amazon. I'm not sure it's now because I mean I have Amazon Prime, so
Oh, I don't know how many people do not have Amazon Prime. And let me tell
yeah,
you, I see the Amazon people more so than I see my kids sometimes. Jokers are always at my door, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So they getting there, man. Hey, so this hike, I was talking to some people that was looking for houses, man. They like houses are like 8% now. I mean,
Yeah, buddy.
the hikes are hiking the interest rates up on houses too, huh?
Yeah, oh, yeah. So, I guess how that stuff works. I mean, let me back up a little bit and tell people, when we're talking about hawkish or dovish, hawkish being they're trying to tighten the money supply, where
Okay,
dovish trying to, stop that stagnant, lack of growth in the economy, right? So trying to open up the money supply. So when
okay,
you have these guys now that are raising rates, right? They're talking more hawkish and they're raising rates. Essentially, like I try to explain to my students, what they're doing is they raise the rate, so they're charging other people more to borrow money from them, which
yeah,
in turn that cost gets passed down to the consumers. You know what I mean? So if
okay,
it's costing us, me as a bank, I'm XYZ bank, and I do mortgages.
uh-huh,
Well, now, to get money from the Fed, they're charging me more. So naturally, I have to raise my rates and charge,
Yeah.
my consumers more. So,
Right.
and the easy, I guess, the easiest way to put that stuff, it's, again, so much goes into this, but when they talk about rates, it's going to affect car loans, going to affect homes. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So,
Yeah.
hoping that with the slump in real estate that's come as of late, that maybe some of that will start to slow things
Dissipate.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, man. Because at 7%, I mean, dude, I refinanced a year and a half ago, and I'm at like 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's crazy. In a year and
I
a half,
know.
18 months, it's more than tripled, I think.
Man,
So,
that's what I was like, I know guys that have interest rates less than 3. So
hmm
for them to be trying to charge new home buyers uh anywhere from 7.5 to 8 now, wow, it's not the time to buy. I would tell you don't do it. You know, if you can
wait. If you can
hold
wait,
on.
wait. Yeah, if you can wait, wait. Especially if you've got a good living situation now. You know what I mean? Where you can,
Yeah.
just if you can hold on, man.
Yeah.
That's But yeah, I mean, I get it. Especially for those that are excited by the first home. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now is not the most ideal time to be doing it. So I mean, if you can be patient,
Yeah.
do it. You know what I mean? And let some of these house prices still come down because they're still. I mean, we want to downsize ourselves, and when we started looking at how much it was going to, the amount of house we're going to get for almost the same price, we're like, man, for that, we'll just hold on to ours.
Already, yeah, yeah. A friend of mine too, but he had a high dollar house. His house he was trying to sell it for like 550. I said, bro, you ain't gonna get no 550 in this market. Them cats is not gonna buy that house. And he got close. They offered him maybe 490 something, but he didn't want to sell it. I said, yeah, you ain't getting, you might as well wait. But
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you can
yeah,
hold out, hold out.
yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. So let me ask you this. So the chairman, his name is it Powell?
Yeah, Jerome Powell.
Jerome Powell. So is that a elected position or appointed position?
Yeah, I believe that is a point of position. That, and again, when you talk about people that became before him, the Ben Bernankes and everything,
Yeah.
and the situation or the role that they're in, man, you're not gonna. There's no way to make everybody happy.
Okay.
And
Okay.
right now, while yes, it's hurting the markets and everything's going on.
Yeah.
Some of it is good. I mean, I think personally over the last probably 5 years, I've been saying that we're due for a downturn. We're due for a correction in the market. And,
Hmm.
there's again so many factors that play into it, man. We start spending more government wise, right? So
Uh-huh.
more
Uh-huh.
money in the economy, right? That's why I'm trying to tighten the money supply. So more money in the economy, what happens?
Absolutely.
People raise their rates,
Yeah.
or excuse me, raise their prices. So when prices start getting to the point where it's like, oh, hold on now, right? So that what do? Raise rates, try to tighten that money supply, and keep
Yeah.
it that people are,
Yeah.
it's
So that was my
moderate.
thing.
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I don't know if he's good or bad, but I was just like, it's since it's election season. I was just wondering if that tied into his position as well. I mean, I
I don't
didn't
know if they work on terms or not, or
know.
how it all goes down, but
Right.
I know that they've got a tough job to do,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
man.
somebody is going to be unhappy right now. The bears in the market are loving it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the bulls are kind of having to grin and bear it. But when this thing does settle down, man,
Uh-huh.
you're gonna get some companies at some really good prices. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So I wonder, and I imagine, because like we said, there's a lot of things affects it and affects the decision that he has to make. Uh, but I wonder how much so did President Biden's you know uh uh issues when he decided to forgive or for a lot of the student loan debt out there. I wonder how much that affected that.
Oh well, I mean, again, we're talking dollars and cents here, right? So we're
Yeah.
spending more money to pay off some of these student loans, and again, that money's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. So
So
that yeah. So is I mean I don't know uh how much knowledge you have on that, but I have some student loans.
yeah.
So so I was watching it closely and it seemed like it seemed like he was the federal loans, right? Not the private loans. He was forgiving the federal loans. But so my understanding was that Well, I guess that's federal money. My understanding was that you didn't have to pay them back, but not necessarily that the government would pay them off for you, you
It's
know.
supposed to be some cap on like 10,000 that they were doing for people. I don't know, man. Here's the problem
Mhm.
that I have. I
Yeah.
paid my student loans. You know what I mean?
I
My
hear
wife paid
you,
her student
man.
loans, right? I mean,
I
so
hear
you
you,
almost
man.
it's almost as though like sometimes they're incentivizing people to just, you know what, don't go out there and go get that job. You know, what I mean, you went and got that degree, or
Uh-huh,
that's enough.
uh-huh,
Just go ahead and rest on your laurels now. Where it's
uh-huh.
it's disheartening to know that there are people
Right,
out there that pay. And I have friends that went on to get law degrees from Yale.
right.
I got one now that's at med school. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Actually, it's the same guy who's got a law degree from Yale, and now he's at Harvard,
Animated.
and he's at Harvard Med now. So,
How
you know,
smart is he?
oh man, there's a book called Cosmos by Carl Sagan, and I think in
Uh,
seventh grade that dude had read it twice. Man, it's
wow.
yeah, he's definitely
Wow.
of above average intelligence. That one,
Yeah,
man. I've known him
absolutely.
since seventh grade. It's my daughter's godfather.
Okay.
Uh, highly intelligent man, African American male, Jamaican. He, you know what I mean, good
Yeah,
up, and
that's
he
what's
knew what he
up.
wanted to do, man, and
Yeah,
he made it happen.
already. Already. So let's so do you want to talk about the equity markets and how the interest rate affects that, or what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. That's perfect segue into that, man, because I'll tell you, as these, the rates go up, right? So you think about the bond market, you think about, credit markets, you think about equities and everything. So as the Fed starts talking about raising rates, people get
Mhm.
nervous, right? So they want to kind of hold in the cash. So you get kind of these major sell-offs, right?
Yep,
And it doesn't help when the bears get control and now they get to shorting companies and everything, and there's just not enough
absolutely.
buyers in the market because of the fear in the market that people start to exit and
Yeah,
exiting, taking losses. So as they talk about increasing rates, you see how it has that effect, on equity prices. Like today, I
yeah.
think the Dow was down something like 600 points today, something like that.
Yeah, man.
And change. I tell you right now, Dow's down. Yeah, 505 today. The S&P was down almost 100 points. I mean, you're
Woo.
talking, 1.5% on the Dow,
Yeah,
2.5 on the S&P. I mean, the Nasdaq's down, almost 3.5. And the Russell, 2000. So
yeah.
everybody's getting hit by it right now.
Everybody.
Yeah, there's, it's again, you got to grin and bear it, man. Unfortunately, but there are still some good buys out there. There's some things out there that that people are investing in, and able to kind of try to turn a little bit of profit. I think that personal belief, and again, I'm not offering financial advice to anybody or anything like that, but just my personal belief that while earning season has been good and we've had this little rally, the market's up something like 13%
Yeah,
since October, like middle of October.
yeah,
So while we want to have this preconceived notion that, hey, oh man, that rally, things are going to get better, things are going to get better.
hmm,
Again, with news like this, from the Fed that, hey, we're going to hike it again, you would think that some of these declines would already be priced into the market.
right.
Which a little bit of it is. Again, being up 12%, almost 13% since the middle of October is a good thing. But again, you have news like today, and people, that fear instills, and institutional buyers
Yeah,
and sellers start to sell off, and so you get another drop in the market.
absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about earnings season.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about earnings season and uh so for people out there, can you tell them what earnings season is?
Yeah, so they break up the year right quarterly, the fiscal year, and they'll go through, and these companies, because they're publicly traded, are going to have to report to shareholders, report to the public,
Yes,
what
sir. Yes, sir.
they made, earnings per share,
Hmm.
how much money they made for every share of stock that is currently outstanding.
Yeah,
Right, so every share of stock they made, and they're looking for certain estimates that they project out, and the analysts look at all that stuff and look at all the numbers. People far smarter than me that have far more sophisticated technology, but they're able to kind of project what they're expecting the company to report. And
yeah,
then when the companies report, they report on what their revenues were.
right.
They usually do a conference call, what their earnings per share is, or
Right.
was for that for the previous quarter. And then they start giving some kind of guidance looking forward, like somebody like CVS,
Yeah.
who has increased their guidance for the rest of the year. They're on on their profits. They're continuing to grow. Especially in a time like this, it's nice to have one or two of those that are able to continue to rise in price.
Right. Right. So at any like earnings season, I guess there's one earnings season per quarter. and
Correct.
yeah,
Yep. Yep.
and generally, companies, there there's a lot of different companies that have earnings each day. Maybe it's throughout the quarter. I guess it could be any day, but generally it's like a week where it's like a whole, most of the S&P 500 and that type of thing, where they all sort of come out around the same time with their
Yeah.
earnings reports and stuff.
Yeah. So usually when it's, when earnings season comes around, right, every 3 months. So I mean, here it is. They're reporting now for the previous
Hmm.
3 months. So they're reporting
Hmm.
now on let me see. January, March, April, May, June. They're reporting July, August, September, October. Yeah, so they're going August, September, October right now, and they're reporting now in November for their earnings for the last 3 months. And
Yeah.
again, with the Fed raising rates and inflation running hot, you know what I mean. Prices going up, so people are tend to spend less,
Yeah.
right? Because they're not getting as much for their money now.
Yeah.
So that's going to hurt businesses, right? So if people are not spending as much money, well, then they're not making as much money, all right?
Right.
So
Right.
when they
And
miss on earnings, again, it can have it's crazy because it can have adverse effects on markets in different ways. There's times where they beat
right.
earnings on both sides, and then
Uh-huh.
because some will just say like Netflix, like, oh, you know what, they beat on earnings, they beat on revenue, everything was great,
And it still
but
went down.
their guidance on they're expecting to add another 1.1 million users, and they only added
Yeah.
950,000 users,
And that caused the
and
stock to drop.
and it could
Absolutely.
cause the stock to drop. You know what I mean? And
Yo.
something crazy and again, that all goes into that forward looking, the guidance
Yeah.
on where they think the company's going and whether or not
Yeah.
Wall Street believes they're going to continue to be profitable for the quarter. Because again, if they're not profitable, well then nobody wants to invest in them.
Right. 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 And I saw, and generally the the big tech guys are, they've been profitable like for the last 10 years every quarter. But Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft are the main four that I'm speaking of. And
Mhm.
you know uh I don't remember a quarter where they haven't met uh you know expectations, but I mean, with the way the world is right now, something might happen here coming up. I just don't know if they can continue that momentum, in these times. I mean, what do you think about that?
I mean, again, it's tough, man. I mean, we're still dealing with COVID backups and supply chain issues. I mean, I got friends of mine that work in the sales industry, and I guess in different parts of the sales industry, and they're still having a hard time getting parts, getting the supplies they need. So all that stuff being backed up,
Yeah.
again, still that stuff's going to play a part on
Yeah.
how profitable they are, and how things are slowing down, and when things get more expensive,
Yeah.
it's what I mean. It's tough to spend that dollar. You know what I mean? When I used to be able to get 20 pieces of bubble gum for $1, now I'm only getting 10. Well, my money's not going as far.
Absolutely. And with the chip shortage that we had, or do we still have a chip shortage? I don't know, but I know we had one for a long time. And that affected companies like Microsoft and Apple, with the different electronics that they had, and it affected AMD and Nvidia
And even the car companies, man. You know what I
and the
mean?
car
I
companies.
mean, the car
Absolutely.
companies were. I mean, they're still buying used vehicles from people. I
Yeah.
mean, I got a friend of mine that just, I mean, made something like $18,000 on his truck that he'd had for 2 years. So,
Really.
yeah, and again, when you talk about supply chain issues, I mean, you go back and I think it was just Ford not so long ago was talking about they're having a hard time just getting parts, not even chips anymore,
Yeah.
like getting the parts to put together. I mean, to put vehicles together. So, all that
Crazy.
stuff's still playing a part, man. It's still lingering, and it's going to take some time to come up out of that.
Crazy. I wonder if that's a reason that these thieves were stealing what, those converters from the trucks,
The
the
catalytic converters.
catalytic converters. I wonder if it was because the shortage.
It
Maybe they
could
were.
be. I'll tell you, there must have been a shortage back when I was in high school too, because I remember Joker stealing them out of a high school parking lot, taking them out of kids' cars, man.
Did you?
I don't know what a catalytic converter even does for a vehicle, but I promise you this is a hot commodity, boy, because they're still stealing
That is wild.
them.
Yeah, I don't know if they do either. I know I have a truck now, my dad's truck. He passed away and I got his truck. And every time I crank it up, because I heard on the news how they sound when they don't have that catalytic converter. They sound rough, man. They sound terrible. So every time I crank it up, I make sure it sounds right. Yeah,
Sound okay? Yeah, I'm
right.
with you.
Yeah, man. Uh, so do you know any companies that were like winners for this?
There were, man. There were some winners, and again, there'll be some losers. And I guess we'll get the bad news out of the way first, man. And we talk
Okay.
about, yeah, how many companies did or did not meet, man. I think Wall Street's saying something that, as of I think the last day in October, that about 72%, give or take,
Hmm.
of companies that were reporting in the S&P 500
Yeah.
had beat Wall Street earnings expectations. All right.
Okay.
Now going back, I think if I'm not mistaken, over the last 5 years, it's been about a 77% beat. So it's not terrible, but the ones that did lose
Hmm.
really lost. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the Facebooks of the world, right? Google, I think Google's Q3 earnings were down. I mean, they missed on a
Okay.
bunch of different numbers.
Oh
Uh,
wow. Okay.
yeah, and you talk about things that are going on. Again, you talk about a slower macro economy, right? So the economy
Uh-huh.
slowing down, right? And the dollar is getting stronger, right? And
Yeah.
as the dollar gets stronger, you know what I mean. It's not you can't buy as much.
Right.
So, and I mean, again, you talk about things that people don't even think about. When it's like, man, what's going on? How come Google? I thought this was a great company. Why is it going down in price? Well, they own YouTube, right? So YouTube,
Yeah.
you talk about representing something like a 2-year 2% decline year over year, right?
Yeah.
Comparing, and they had a revenue of $7 billion, right? So things like that are in the background that a lot of people don't see and they don't, what I mean, they don't know about.
Yeah.
So it's not just because Google is a bad company, what's going on, but there's so
Right.
many factors that get tied into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, there were some positives with Google. I mean, there were some positives with, there's always positives. Google's not going anywhere. Microsoft's
Right.
not going anywhere. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A lot of these
Yeah.
companies, they're here to stay.
Yeah.
And but what the hardest part is, man, is just watching like, yo, when do we stop the bleeding? And people, what I mean, do I get out? Do I hold on? I think, to tell people, I'm not here to tell you whether you should sell or whether you should buy. I'm here telling you what I think,
Yeah.
is going to be in your best interest. But I say get a trading plan. You got to stick to your trading plan. I mean,
Yeah.
that's I can give anybody an
Absolutely.
advice, man. You want to trade and you want to do it on your own.
Yeah.
Come up with a trading plan and stick to it, man. And be diligent on sticking to it. That and you got to be willing to take those losses sometimes and say, you know
Hmm.
what, man, I'm down. If your trading plan says 15% loss, then you're going to cut your losses and you move on to it.
Yeah.
You move on from that. But hold on to that plan, stick to it, because a lot of times people are like, bought at 100. Oh man, it's down to 90. Oh man, it's down to 80. Oh man, it's down to $60. You know what I mean? They're like, oh man, I'm just gonna hold on just in case it comes back. And before you know it, that company's down to, trading at $35 a share. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I look at it as though
Yeah.
like if I bought it at 100, if I bought one share at $100 and it dropped to 80, I'm still dealing with at least $80 in capital. If I get rid of it, take my losses and
Yeah.
find, another one. So
So so then are we not to just to put the great Warren Buffett out there, man? Are we not do some of his philosophies, his old school philosophy, do they not work anymore?
no, they
Because I,
do.
'Cause I remember Warren Buffett saying, and I try to stick to this, and it's bit me a couple of times because I kept stocks long, but I haven't been in. So Warren Buffett was like, if you're not prepared for your stock to drop 50% and you to still hold on to it, then you don't even need to be in the market. So I mean, if your stock drops now, everybody's telling you to sell, sell, sell. If it drops 20%, I mean, Warren Buffett, one of the greatest investors of this
Ever.
generation. Yeah, he's guy. He said, man, and I remember him saying that he had to borrow money to keep his company because it had went down that much,
Yep.
and now it's but not everybody wants to get rich slow. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, that's a problem. And I mean, we're in a now society, right? So, the Warren Buffett method, all of those same principles still hold true today, man.
Yeah,
Where Warren Buffett, I think, where people don't follow along as close as they should is, when everybody else is being greedy, Warren Buffett is leery and kind of just waiting it out and seeing.
Hmm.
And then when everybody starts to get leery and everybody, the fear starts setting in the market and everybody, oh, sell, sell, sell. He goes in and he sees it as a buying opportunity and it's time to go buy these companies. And he does not just invest in anything, man. He does his research. He's
So
big
what
on
is,
arbitrage. I mean,
yeah.
I read one of his books, man. There was an interview I think they did with him and Jay-Z and Forbes or something like that. I mean, it might
Hmm.
have been a source. And, so when they walked in for the interview, that Warren Buffett was reading something like the 1957 Ford report. I'm like, why are
Hmm.
you reading that? He's like, because they were very successful back then. And I want to know what they were doing then.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
all of his principles still stay true, man. Difference between, myself and Warren Buffett and 90% of America is that Warren Buffett has enough capital on hand where he can hold out and wait and buy, 1,000 more shares or 2,000, 20,000 more shares of a company.
Exactly.
Some people here, are using this for their retirement and sometimes, using it, I mean, because it's hoping to, help make money.
Right. So I mean, I agree with that also, to a point, but my point is, if so who are the people? Like, if you say, if Warren Buffett is saying, when people are greedy, be leery. When people are leery, be greedy. Who are the people you're watching? Because so I sort of hear now, different stuff I read and people I talk to, they always say follow the money, man. So
Yeah.
if the money is getting out, shouldn't we get out? Or if the money is buying, shouldn't we buy?
Yeah, and see, yes, they tell you to follow the paper trail, right? Follow the money.
Hmm.
The problem is, though, a lot of times that money that is moving, and we never see it. There's a lot of these
Right.
institutions are trading dark pool transactions, so people have no idea. When you wake up in the
Okay.
morning, like, man, why did this thing gap down or gap up? I'll show you all this stuff on a chart, and
Yeah.
it's because you get a lot of these things that are, moving price and all that stuff, and you
Okay.
don't know. And again, remember, for every buyer in the market, there's a seller in the market. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
So when you're saying follow the money, it's where yes, people are getting out, but then you got a lot of like the bears right now shorting these companies and bringing them down and making money as the price is going down.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, you know what, I'm going to hold on, right? So the money's leaving. Well, guess what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. And then once this thing starts to bottom out, now it's time to start buying it. So if you had something like, Amazon, we'll just say it was trading at $150,
Hmm.
and then it's down to 125, it's down to 110. Well, the entire way down, Warren Buffett's like, all right, I'm going to buy a little bit, and I'm going to buy a little bit, and that's another viewpoint or another strategy people use is trying to average
Right.
down. I mean, I feel as though if you are a firm believer in that company and what that company does,
Hmm.
and you want to hold out, then hold out. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like if it's
Right.
something that you believe in. Like to me, if Apple right now dropped down to $8 a share, I'm not selling Apple. And that's one thing you don't trade Apple, you buy Apple. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
companies like that, yeah, I'm okay buying that stuff. I
Yeah.
mean, and just continue to average down. I mean, that'd be great if I can get Apple at $7 a share right now. I'd jump all over it. You know what I mean?
So would I. So would I. I mean,
Yeah,
me and a friend of mine, we had a $75 price point for Apple, but I don't think it's gonna get that low.
man. Let me see here. Oh yeah, no, $70 price point, boy. You got a long way to go.
Hey, the world got to get bad for Apple to get.
Yeah, man. And you see Apple's like, oh yeah, new iPhone 14, new iPad coming out, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Oh, we're cutting production. Apple stock isn't really affected by that stuff, man. Like,
Not hardly.
you,
That's
you
it.
trade. I mean, you don't trade Apple, you buy Apple, and you hold on to it, man.
It's almost, it could be considered a pandemic buster. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are certain stocks that I feel like are pandemic busters, and I feel like Apple could be one, because you could get it, and it's not, your portfolio is not going down that much even in a pandemic, and it didn't, because I got Apple, and
Yeah,
it's been solid the whole time.
and it's different than some of the other ones like the Pelotons and all that stuff because guess what? After the pandemic, I'm still using that phone. During the
Hmm.
pandemic, I'm on that Apple device, so it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
One like some of these
Yep.
other ones where the door dashes and all that stuff where people are like, hey,
Right.
I can't go out to eat. You know what I mean? So, but Apple, look, man, Apple is here to stay,
Yeah.
and as
Yeah.
long as people using their products, they ain't going anywhere, man.
And after the pandemic, Zoom took a little hit, but we
Oh
still
yeah,
we still using Zoom. This is Zoom right here.
oh
Shout
for
out to Zoom.
sure. Yeah, shout out to Zoom, man, for especially for the free. And I'll tell you, and as well as I do, man, being an educator, what they did, man, to allow for us to use it for free, man, to be able to still teach
Hmm.
kids. I mean,
Yep.
that speaks volumes about that company.
Yep.
Regardless of
Absolutely,
how
man.
Wall Street and everybody else feels, man, they stepped in and they had an answer right away
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
when everybody else was scrambling to figure out, hey, what do we do? I mean, this is unheard of, man. This is something that's never happened in the history of our generation, or probably the last two generations, that you had to worry about, the world. I mean, the world shutting down.
Absolutely, man.
So yeah.
So I was gonna ask you when we was talking about follow the money and what the big banks do and things like that. So and my thing is like, so if who's the winner and who's the loser in that situation? Like if big banks are buying and other big banks are selling, like who like how do they come up with a winner? Or is that just something that's determined over time?
I think a lot of it has to do with the portfolio managers and what their ultimate goal is, So while somebody could be buying while somebody else is selling,
Yeah.
they could be buying thinking like, hey, they've got, you know, sitting on a gold mine, you know what I mean? Where
Okay.
somebody else looks at the same numbers. Yeah, I mean, it's all subjective, man. Somebody else looks at the same deal, like, oh man, I don't like this, so we're gonna get rid of it. Or, we're overweight, our portfolio is overweight in this sector, so we need to dump some stuff, or this is what we're gonna dump off.
Okay. 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 Yeah. I was just wondering. Uh, because I'm still in that mindset, man. Follow the money. I don't have
Yeah.
my money not long like that, so I need to whatever they do. I feel like my money, that's what I need to do with my money.
Hey man, and nobody can tell anybody else what they need to be doing with their money, man. You know what you need in your life. You know the things that you want, and you handle your business according. According to
Yep.
your objectives and things that that you want to be able to see happen with your portfolio and all that stuff. So, everybody can give recommendations all they want, but
You know what
people
I
also
need
take a step back. And that's what we find. As being in this financial advising and
already.
investment management that I can't tell somebody what I could advise you as to what I think you should do,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
again, I can only go based off of what people share with me. And if what they're sharing with me is saying, there's pointing to, hey, no, this doesn't need, I can't afford, to continue to lose money, or yeah, I need this money because hey, I just lost my job and I need, got to be able to pay the damn, the rent and all that stuff. Well,
Right.
all that stuff makes sense, man.
Absolutely. Hey, so one more question, man. So what do you think about Elon Musk, man, sealing the deal with Twitter, man? I mean,
I'm a fan of Elon Musk, man. I listened to his biography written by a lady, and I mean, just what that dude has set out to accomplish and what he's managed to do.
mhm.
I'm a believer in what his visions and things like that. As far as him buying Twitter and all that stuff, I took advantage of the arbitrage deal with it, man. Got it when it
Uh-huh.
was in the 40s, and guaranteed 54.20 whatever it is that he bought it for. So
Yeah.
is he going to do right by it? Yeah, I mean, I think anybody that owns any kind of social media uh, platform like that is capable of controlling the narrative. What
Absolutely.
I mean? So when people are, making big moves like that, there's more to the story. There's always more to the story, you know.
So yeah, so my take on it is that he's been controlling the narrative even though he ain't on Twitter. He's been using Twitter, to control a lot of the narrative that he wants out there. So now that he is the owner of it, man, I feel like he's gonna, you know, treat it like he's done his other businesses and it's gonna prosper, man. I don't feel like I don't feel like he's gonna misuse Twitter or abuse Twitter like some people may think he's gonna do.
No, I think
You
he
know?
really wants to open it up for, I mean, for people to be able to say what they want. And I think one of the biggest problems he has with Twitter is all the bot accounts, the fake accounts, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And trying to find, he's the one, I mean, if anybody's going to do it, he's the one smart enough to figure out the algorithms and things that need to go into that to be able to fix that stuff. So,
But there's bots everywhere. I
oh
think
man.
if people could have figured that out by now, they would have, huh?
Well, let me tell you this, man. As far as that stuff's concerned, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, you can jump on YouTube now and find a video that teach you how to program a bot. You know what I mean, a
Yeah.
Discord bot or whatnot. And there's
Absolutely.
guys that look. I'm a Russ fan, man, so I listen to Russ. Took my son to his concert, and listening to Russ, man. He's saying, you
Okay.
guys are paying these social media companies to have all these followers and whatnot, and why? Because that's the way of the future, man. Everything is, we're in the
Absolutely.
canceled culture now, right?
Yep.
So if
Yep.
you can have it where it's showing that you've got all these people that likes and follows, well,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, in the view of our current generation, and you're winning.
Yeah. Now, I mean, and I would hope that Elon would crack down on the hate speech, and because I know free speech is something that we need to protect, but we also have common sense, man. And
Yeah,
some of these sites are just as they're just trying to portray as much negative as they can.
for
And
sure.
those are some of the sites that I hope he deals with those and don't just allow them to say what they want to say in the name of free speech.
Yeah,
That's
I look at some of that stuff, man, where people get kind of just, they can say what they want, and we're in that copycat culture now, also, where if
mhm.
somebody says something, well, I want to be able to say something also, and
Yeah,
I want to be, be put out there, that more views, more follows, more, reaction to it than the previous person got by making a comment similar to that. And
yeah,
when it comes to hate speech, man, I'm with you, man. Yeah, common sense.
yeah.
Like here we are in 2020, man. Like if you have an opinion, yeah, you got a platform where you can use it. Yeah, say what you
Right.
want, free speech, but is it really free speech?
Yeah.
Because people talk about and again, this is I don't want anybody to think I am not saying to do harm to the president or anything, but somebody says something about doing harm to the president, somebody hears it, you can be in trouble for that. So I mean, it really isn't true
Absolutely.
free speech. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand how. Yes, I mean I get the president of the United States, but that people shouldn't be allowed to just go in there and say whatever they want. You know what I mean?
Right.
Talking about hate speech, man. You know what I mean? We're in
Absolutely.
2022, man. If it's something you don't
Hmm.
agree with, just because you can't say something doesn't mean you have to say something.
Don't mean you should.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely,
yeah.
man.
So
See, you got anything else, my brother?
yeah, man. I mean, I got a couple charts here if you want to look at them, man, and show people. You know what I mean? Kind of some of the things we're looking at.
Yes, sir. Definitely. Okay.
There we go. All right. So, man, if you got any companies in particular, man, you want to look at, you let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I've got watch lists set up for from here to kingdom come, man. It's again just what I do, man. I love to sit down and look at the charts. I had somebody talking or watching something on YouTube today, and the guy was like, "Oh, everybody's got their own method, right? Oh, personal trading
Yeah.
strategy, guaranteed to work, $10,000 a month, and nobody wants to sit in front of their computer and watch charts all day."
Right.
I want to tell the dealer, you know what? I beg to differ, man. I actually like to sit around and look at the charts all day and watch price action, and you know what I mean. I tell people I nerd out on this stuff, man, and it is what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I see
but I
you
mean,
with
look,
Tesla right here.
yeah, it's Tesla. I mean, just it had it brought up, man. You got to kind of ignore, get rid of some of these trend lines and everything we got drawn up, man. But I'll leave these two up here. You can see that it's in a downward trend here, right? So collecting those points there, probably more
Yeah.
of a long-term trend. You
Yeah.
see kind of your midterm trend here, and you see that, it's coming to a point. You know what I mean? It's going to continue to work here. I mean, it keeps finding this strong support level right in this area around
Okay.
the 208, 210 level. You know what I mean? Where it just, it bounces and
Uh-huh.
comes. So, I mean, we're waiting to see what's going to happen. You see, let me see if I can increase this gap. So a gap down here.
Yeah.
So from what date is this? So the 30th of September, you had that gap down, right? And a lot of times when these companies gap like that, a lot of times they're looking to fill that gap, right? So price action should take it back up to close this gap right here, this little triangle here. I don't know if I can see it.
Oh, okay.
All
And,
right, so we're looking to can clear that. If it clears that, well, then you had this almost double, triple top up here. So it should be the next level of resistance, be right around this area here. And
so
if
you
you
can
can
you
bust
tell
that,
can you tell like how long it should take before it gets back up to that level and clears that?
man, brother, if I can do that, man, I'll tell you this, you and I would not be sitting here right now. We'd be on some tropical vacation beach, man, just
I hear you, man.
kicking it with umbrella drinks. You know what I
I
mean?
know. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot or nothing. It's just that I see all these cats, they act like they can make magic happen and bells and whistles with the stock market and stuff. And I'm like, if you could do that, man, you wouldn't even, you know what I'm saying? You
You'd
would be
be
on a
all
mountain.
time. Yeah, just not a care in the world. You know what I mean? But the difference
Yeah,
is, you and I, we learn how to do that stuff, man. And we're going to teach everybody else. Everybody else can make money also. You know what I mean? But again,
already.
you go through and you look at some of the, the technical stuff, right? So there's the fundamental analysis side, right? Looking at
Uh-huh.
earnings and looking at, all the reports and their cash flow statements, income statement, balance sheets, looking at that
Okay.
right, the fundamental side, and then you also have the
Yep.
technical side.
Yep.
And from what I'm, seeing on here, that again, it continues. This white line that's right here just continues to bounce and it tests it right, and it just won't
Okay.
really break this white line here, man. This
Yeah.
strong support sitting there. Just got to see what's going to happen here. Going forward.
I
You
see
have
that.
sometimes they get like like what's called an SR, support and resistance flip, right? Where past
Okay.
resistance becomes future support. So here, let me see if I find an example of that for you, man. Kind of right in this area. We're gonna make a draw a box here for everybody so you can see it.
Hmm.
There it is. I'll find it. There we go. So you look in
Okay.
right here, and I'll kind of shrink it down the size, but kind of in this area here. So, and that red for everybody to be able to see. And I feel a little red also. All right. So looking at that red rectangle I just threw, you can
Yep.
see where this was resistance, right? It was hitting here and come back down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of keeps testing it there.
Yep.
And then at one point, the flip happened where this was resistance, and then boom, and it broke through that level of resistance, and then
Yep.
started going back down, and it became support, right? So you had an SR flip there, right? Support
Okay.
resistance flip.
Okay.
And it came out here, and you wait to see how man is going. And this is by the time it hit here again, it was a triple top, right? One, two, three.
Mm-hmm.
I started coming back down. It broke that, level of support that was there, and it's still maintaining. Going back to, May 24th of this year, it has yet to break really through that and close really below that level of resistance or that level of support.
Okay.
So that's one of those deals with Tesla, man. With all the news of Twitter and everything going on,
Yeah.
that's going to happen. But I'll tell you, when they split back in August, I fully took advantage of that. They were 3-for-1 split.
Yep.
It was great. I think I had like 10 shares at the time, and sitting at 30, and then I ended up buying buy the dip. I believe in Tesla. I believe that they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And come down, buy the dip. And
Absolutely.
so some of the ones like here, look, I'll show you, like CVS, who has done pretty well considering. They
Yep.
had the drop off, right? Oh man, it's rallying, it's rallying, it's rallying. Right here it
Hmm.
is. Like, earnings, right? They crushed earnings. Earnings was great. Up, we beat it by 10% here, beat it by 5.5% there. So, whoop, there's that gap.
Yeah.
And start to work its way back down. It gap down here. That's exactly what I was showing you, man. So look, here's that gap down from here to here. It gap down. So what you're waiting on is for it to fill that gap. And sure enough, here it is. Boom, start to fill it. Boom, came, filled
Yeah.
it again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
some of the ones again, that's CVS being one of the ones that reported earnings yesterday.
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, they reported today.
Okay.
Yeah,
Today.
they reported today, and again beat it by almost 5%, almost 5.5%. So people like to see that stuff.
Yeah.
When things are going well, man. And
Right. So
yeah,
CVS
many
was
companies, man. But I'd be glad to go through them, man. You just let me know if you got any of them.
so CVS and Tesla some winners.
Well, Tesla. You should go back and look at the Tesla chart, man. I'm not necessarily a winner, but for me personally, I know that I'm buying. Tesla
Yeah.
do what they want. They believe it. They don't believe it. But man, that's crazy because you look at where this, like I told you, that SR flip happened.
Yeah.
Support, right? There's resistance, right? It became support, and then it almost lines up perfectly with this gap that it needs to fill. Is that
Hmm.
crazy or what?
That's wild, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. And again, dude, there's all kinds of indicators you can use, man. I try to keep mine simple. So although I know
Yeah.
anybody's looking at this like, there's nothing simple about all those lines. And then you open up and start looking at the MACD and the oscillator. So when I'm looking at this stuff, man, I'll tell you, I'll show you what my screen normally looks like. This is what my screen is normally like here, man. So I'm looking for divergences and you know, but there's other things out there, man. This is one that I told my dad about, man. They've been doing good. It's called Pioneer Natural Resources,
Uh-huh.
PXD. And, again, going back to, towards the end of September, from the end of September here,
Yeah.
where it topped out at, you're talking a 33.6%, 33.7% gain.
Wow.
All right.
Hey, check out waste management for me.
Oh man,
WWM.
waste management. Look at this. It's funny you say that. So I've got a mock portfolio where I kind of keep, watch lists and stuff like that. But there it is. There's
Yeah,
waste management right
there it
there.
is.
Other
Yep.
one of my watch lists.
Okay.
And then here's the mock portfolio that I have. Oof, it's ugly when you see all that red in there, but there's Boeing, right? Eli Lilly,
Yep.
uh, Northrop Grumman, uh, just
Johnson
Johnson Johnson
Johnson.
at Health. I
Walmart.
mean, but we can look at waste management, man.
Yeah, let's look at that.
Let me clear some of this stuff out.
That's one of my pandemic busters right there. I got that for my sister. I got her quite a few of those when it was around 100 or 115, 110 or something. So
Yeah,
she made out pretty decent on that one.
can't beat that, man.
Yeah.
See, it's crazy. The more and more you look at it, for the people that don't want to learn charts and everything, man, the more and more you look at it, like I can almost see this head and shoulders pattern that formed here. Because there's
Hmm.
a head and shoulders pattern, boom, price drops. Starts
Hmm.
working back up, man. Right. And there's Fibonacci you can look at, but
Yeah.
again, strong support here.
Yeah.
Draw that
And the
damn
thing
line,
about
man.
it don't look like it ever drops too much.
Now it looks more or less like it's consolidating now, but there's strong support right there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's touched that line there, there. And look, there's the SR flip, right? So if this thing can hold, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yeah.
here's the prior resistance. They should be there, right? All kinds of
Okay. Yeah.
support.
For sure.
They consolidate a little bit. Show you the damn channel here where realistically kind of trading in this channel right now.
Hmm.
So we'll see, man. I know that again, there's strong support there. And you get the SR flip right there,
Yeah.
kind of bounce, come back down. Feel like we wanted to close below it, really didn't bounce again. So if it can hold, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The next price targets here, I mean, would be again, just looking at some of the stuff, 161. If we can bust that, probably looking
Okay.
at the 167 range.
Hmm.
And then again, 175. And then, I mean, who knows from there,
Yeah,
man?
exactly. Exactly. I mean, it's
Yeah,
still
see,
good value because I mean, I see it so it was 117. I want to say maybe I guess you can look at it on the chart, but don't seem like it seemed like it was 117 at some point this year. And
back in like March,
yeah,
March, late February, early March, I was sitting in the in the teens, 120s.
yeah.
And I mean,
So
that's look, I mean, if you held on, I mean, what are we talking? What are we in November? We'll say
yeah,
March. I mean, what's
yeah.
that? 8 months?
Yep.
I mean, 8 months, even if you got out today, we'll just say that's still a 32% increase on your money, man.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, can't be that. It's $37 a share. You know what I mean? You had 100
Yeah.
shares, you just made
$3,700. Yeah.
$3,700, yeah, in 8 months. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I see it, you know, I see, like I said, pandemic buster. Uh, Hey, look at Berkshire Hathaway, Berkshire B for me. I've been intrigued by that one lately.
Yeah. So my
Not
dad
not
has.
A. You know
No,
that?
yeah, we
Not
can look at
A.
A too if you want. I was showing A to my class the other day, man. They're like,
Oh, you
Coach,
will.
it costs almost a $500,000. I said, yeah, for one share. Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah. But again, I mean, the look, support, strong level of support right in here.
Yeah.
You know, and it kind of teetered below it a little bit, came back, teetered below it again.
Okay.
But again, I mean, this has Warren Buffett. And again,
Yeah.
everybody has their own train of thought, the indicators I like to use and everything, man.
Hmm.
I'm a moving averages guy. So I like to look at moving averages.
Absolutely. Me
I mean,
too.
try to look at what's going on trend wise.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's something else that try to explain to people, man, that don't trade against the trend.
Trading
If you trade,
against the trend.
I tell people, try not to trade against the trend. I mean, there's times we can make money, little short spurts, like if you had bought in here, like, oh my God, he's taking a loss, right? So you got in somewhere around here, and it's like, oh, boom, look, there's a little rally, you can make it. But I mean, overall, you're looking at the trend that's showing like, we're in a downtrend, although it just busted it. But you
So
can
when
see
people
it's strong
trade,
enough support.
so when people trade against the trend, what are they doing? Are they day trading or are they
Yeah, it could be day trading, it could
swing
be swing
trading?
trading.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you know, mean any of that stuff. And sometimes people just like to be contrarian, man. You know what I mean? Sometimes people have the phones where they're okay short in the market, man. And
Right, right.
the
But
biggest deal.
it's not a winning long term formula for you.
I mean, not for me personally, because again, I'm trying to generate. I'm trying to build generational wealth. You know what I mean? I want stuff
For
that
sure.
that my parents
Absolutely.
did for me. You know what I mean? And
Absolutely.
I hate talking about it, but when they pass, we'll receive an inheritance far more than my parents never received any inheritance from either one of their parents. So,
Mm-hmm.
and try to
Mm-hmm.
take that and show my kids that they get an inheritance and you build that long term. I opened up accounts for my kids, I don't know, 8 years ago, give or take, and
Mm-hmm.
started loading up on shares at 3M because they're paying almost $6 a year, per
Yeah,
share on in dividends. So
absolutely.
loading up on some of that stuff and
Yep.
just having a portfolio, good mixture. One of the deals that I kind of posted a little updated on my Facebook group, just let people know for these people that are millennials that want to retire earlier. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, what can I do? Well, what does that equal? What does that mean? You know what I mean? For one, more time, right?
Yep.
So now if I've developed a portfolio where I'm making dividend checks of, we'll just say $1,000 every 3 months, well, that covers bills in the house.
Yeah.
I may not have to work full time. Or you know what? Guess what? I want to take and I want to go do something that I've been always want to do, and I either start a business or I want to take a pay cut and be able to go do this, and I can afford to do that. How can I
Yeah.
afford to do that? Because they've developed enough
Absolutely.
of a portfolio, that they can do some of that stuff, man.
Absolutely. My dividend portfolio, man, immaculate, man. I love it. But we'll get into dividends in another show, man. But yeah, I love dividend stocks, bro.
Yeah, man, I'm big time on it. I mean, look, I got watch lists of dividend yield
Yeah.
pairs. I
Yeah.
mean, ETFs, right? Dividend watch. That is 3M, and that's, I mean, I own 3M, so anybody that's like, oh man, this guy's giving us stock stuff, information, but he doesn't own it. I promise you, I own anything we're talking about. If I tell you I own it, I promise you, I own shares of. But there it is. I mean, $1.49 every quarter, $1.50 a quarter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, but it's been good, man. The market is. I mean, while it's a scary time for people, I mean, those of us that geek out on this stuff, man, it's good because there's a lot of learning opportunities in here. Just
Absolutely.
to see, what I mean, like
Yep.
what's going on in the markets and take the time
Hmm.
to learn what's really affecting the markets
Right.
more so than it's just the average Joe, the everyday person that's buying a couple hundred shares here and there,
Right.
really affecting
Right.
that price like you believe. You know what I mean? But
Yep.
when you start seeing some of the ones that those institutional buyers that come in and somebody, oh man, this person has bought a block of 30,000 shares here. You know what I
Heck
mean?
yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, I mean that stuff, it happens, and that's what's making it move. But
Right. Right.
there it is. I mean, there's look. That's I mean, just so I can chart the stuff in my portfolio.
Yeah.
There it is. My thing. Look, there's 3M. Yes, I own it. Yeah, there's Tesla. I own it. Yes, Twitter. I own it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so
I have I have
Amazon, Apple.
I have IEP right now. I don't know if you have that, but I love that one. That's
What
a
is
good
that?
one. IEP, uh, icon.
Icon. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Icon. That icon is an icon. Yeah, man. Yeah, that dude. He knows his stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And if
yeah.
anybody's looking for a
Absolutely.
good book to read, man, I read Smarter Than the Street by Gary Kaminsky.
Okay.
Short read, very, very easy read. Short read, very good information in there, man.
Uh-huh.
One of the things that I picked up and I shared with my classes not too long ago, I said, he said in the book, losing money is far worse than missing out on the opportunity to make money. That the
Okay.
opportunities are going to come. There are going to be opportunities in the market all the time.
Okay.
If you are not, like we talk back to that trading strategy, man, that if you know what I mean, losing money and you
Yep.
just are adamant on holding on to it, man, that you're losing money. Like, you know what? Hey, yeah, everybody jumped on the GameStop craze, right? And the Bed Bath and Beyond,
Uh-huh.
the squeeze and all that, which I did as well. But when you look at uh, you know, long term and all that stuff, how's it working out for you?
Right. Right.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So, but
Absolutely.
anyway, Smarter Than the Street was a good one, man. And then
Okay.
Tony Robbins has one also. It's called Money Master the Game, and then the follow up to that was Unshakable.
Okay. Hey man.
Both
Hey,
those are
hey, hey,
really
hey.
long
We
books,
we
but
we gonna let them know the books in another episode, man.
that'll work, man.
Yeah, if y'all wanna find out some high quality financial books, you have to keep watching.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. Leave them hanging on, man. Leave them wanting more, right? Leave them wanting more.
Already. Hey man, this has been great, bro.
Oh man, I look like I said, man. Anytime you let me know, man, I can talk about this stuff for hours. And
Heck
like I
yeah,
said, and if
yeah,
anybody, we end up going live somewhere, man. People are like, hey man, can you show me some stuff on this chart? And I'll be
yeah,
glad to show them and show them some of the things that I think. Again,
yeah,
not telling you to buy it, not telling you not to buy it or to sell it, and just show you on the chart and what I'm
yeah,
reading from the chart. You know, but
yeah,
yeah, but this is good, man.
yeah. So, hey, already sometimes all you gotta do is show them. because sometimes they don't even know what it look. You know what I'm saying? You show them, and then
Lots
that
of free information out there, man.
absolutely, absolutely, bro. Uh, Good deal, man. Uh, this is Wednesday Market Watch. EightOne Capital is our sponsor today.
Appreciate that, yes, sir. I ain't wear my Sharpstown green today, man. Like the last,
Yeah.
LA Pearland. You know what I mean? Still coaching at
Hmm.
Pearland, so
Already. That's great, bro. Uh, I'm Erik T. Jackson, man. We coming at you every week with something. I promise. If we miss a week, then the next week we might have to come at you with 2 videos.
just double it up. Yeah, whatever it is. Give people what they want, man. Give them, you know what I mean? Give them the
Yes,
information
sir.
they're looking for.
Yes, sir.
Unbiased from real people too. You see, I'm not dressed in no suit, right? Oh yeah, he's got his own investment advisory, company. Look, baby, I'm still me.
Yes.
I go to work and I got on sweatpants and I wear, a zip up, and
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna give it to you real. I'm not. I don't have a Wall Street pedigree. I don't have a Wall Street background. I'm gonna give it to you exactly how I learned it, and I mean, it's
You're
show people
reg
there's a way. There's a
you're
way,
a
man.
regular guy. You're a
If
regular
this is
guy.
not what people want, if you want me to be clean shaved and 3-piece suit and everything, well then I might not be the guy for you, man.
Put it in the
Yeah.
comments.
That's it. Yeah, put them kind. That's fine. I mean, people feel how they feel. Look, I'm always gonna be me. You know,
Yeah,
I'm a coach at heart, and I'm gonna dress like a coach, and you know what I mean.
absolutely.
And if that
Same here,
bothers you,
man.
there's other people out there that can put together a dog and pony show. But I'm all about
Absolutely.
giving it to you right, man. Giving it to you real.
Giving it to you right, giving it to you real. Absolutely. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it, man. I'll see you next week.
Next week, brother.
All right, brother. Take care.
Later.
Bye now.